So getting back into our coverage over the X-Men, we actually pick up with Wolverine issue number 45 to start today's video off. Now, in the opening pages for today's video, we actually pick up with Wolverine and Jubilee right now getting ready to attend an event where you have a character known as Ronald Parvenu getting ready to show off a creature that he was able to capture, a creature better known as the Hunter in Darkness. Now, the Hunter in Darkness actually has a connection to Logan. Let me explain. You see, when it came to Logan in the past, right after he had escaped from Weapon X, he had a run-in with the creature, and they did battle against each other. Now, for Logan, he does not remember that at all, but a part of him does say like, I feel like I should know this creature, but the problem is I have no idea how I know this creature. But for Logan, he wanted to kind of stick around this event to see the creature, to kind of see if he's able to remember where he actually met the creature at. Now for Jubilee, she's kind of worried for Wolverine. And the reason why, because in the earlier videos we have done over this series, this man had fought against a range of different characters. But the top two were Albert the Cyborg Wolverine and Sabertooth. And so for Jubilee, she's kind of wondering if Wolverine is actually okay physically, but also mentally, because after he was able to deal with Sabertooth, he wanted to be left alone, and he went to Central Park to pretend that he was actually back in the wild again, even though he actually wasn't. Even though for Logan, he's kind of like, yeah, I'm good, so please leave me alone so that I am able to figure out how in the world I know this creature. Now we do learn that there is another character getting ready for this event as well. And really, she wants to kill off the Hunter in Darkness. And so she's waiting for the right time to take the shot to actually kill off the creature as a way to get revenge against the creature. But we're going to learn more about this character later on in this video. But now I want to jump over to Albert, the Cyborg Wolverine and LCD. Now these are two cyborgs that were actually created by Donald Pierce, who's also a cyborg himself. Now when it comes to Donald Pierce, his main goal is to get rid of the mutant race. But first, he wants to get rid of the X-Men, especially Wolverine, who's right now his main target. Now this man has been trying his best to get rid of Wolverine. But the problem is, he just keeps failing over and over again when it comes to getting rid of our hero. And so what he did was he created two cyborgs to hopefully get rid of Logan. That'll be Albert, the Cyborg Wolverine, and LCD, the small innocent girl robot. Now, when it comes to Albert, the Cyborg Wolverine, he was made by Donald Pierce to go out in the world to pretend to be the real Wolverine, to kind of go out there to commit crimes to frame the real Wolverine, make it seem like our hero has gone officially bad, and of course get the attention of the real Logan. Now, once Logan would arrive to fight against the Cyborg Wolverine, he would also meet LCD as well. Now, LCD is a cyborg robot that looks like an innocent girl, because Donald Pierce knew that LCD looks innocent enough and Wolverine would not be able to help himself if a young girl is actually in danger. And so she would pretend to be a hostage for the Cyborg Wolverine. Now, plans did change later on, but either way, she was made as a way to get close to Logan. And once she did get close to him, she was supposed to explode, because her entire body was actually just one big huge bomb to be used to kill off Logan. The problem was, once you had Logan go out of his way to save her, she gained the ability to have feelings. And so she felt bad about the idea of killing a guy who was trying to save her. And so because of that, and really so many other things, she was able to kind of fight through her program so that she would not blow up to kill off Logan. Except the problem was, after her and Logan were able to get close to one another, they both got trapped in the tunnels of the Morlocks. Now, while being trapped down there, he almost drowned. And so to go ahead and save him, she used the bomb in her body to blow up the gears to open a gateway to allow Wolverine to get out. The problem was, the only thing left of her was just her head, and that was it. And so with the head being the only thing left, she could not survive because most of the batteries that kept her going was in her body that had just got blown up. Now, Sabertooth did try to attack her again, and she used the last part of her body to get rid of him as a way, again, to protect Logan. And so she fell down the waters. And so to Logan, she had officially died that day. He has no idea that she was actually found by Albert, the cyborg Wolverine, and now his main goal is to build her a brand new body so that she is able to survive once again. But here's the catch though. He needs a lot of power to go into this new body to help her stay alive. And that can be an actual problem down the road in this story. Now, we do pick up with a random young lady being robbed by some kind of thug, but the thug does get taken out by another character, and that would be Sabertooth. Now, this is not really Sabertooth trying to help save the young woman. Matter of fact, he takes her out as well. He just wanted her money so that he is able to use the money for his own personal needs. Now, let's not forget that he was also in our last video because he was there in the tunnels when LCD and Logan were there. Now, in our last video, Sabertooth kind of told Logan that, hey, I'm your father. Now, at first, Logan did believe Sabertooth that in the possibility he could be his father. But Nick Fury said, no, there's no way that he's your father. Like, I don't know why he's saying that, but he is completely wrong. But this moment right here is going to bring him back into today's video as well. But now we can jump over to the big event with Ronald Parvenu getting ready to show off the creature that he has captured, the Hunter in Darkness. Now, here's the thing. He's not alone. You see, he's also with Lady Deathstrike. Now, let's not forget, when it comes to Lady Deathstrike, she's always trying to go after Wolverine. And here is the reason why. So, when it comes to Lady Deathstrike, her father was actually able to build the process that would allow somebody to have adamantium on their bones. The problem was his notes were actually stolen, and many years later, she found Wolverine, somebody who was able to go through the process and come out successful. And so because of that reason right there, and a few others as well, she always wanted to kill off Logan. Now, the reason why she's with Ronald is because the Hunter in Darkness creature, because its connection to Logan. She knows there is a connection between the creature and Logan. And so if the creature is here, sooner or later, Logan will come here as well. It's the best kind of bait to bring him out in the open. The problem is she is not going to be alone when it comes to going after Wolverine, because Sabertooth also had picked up the scent of Logan. And so he's there as well, looking for Wolverine as well. All 4 different characters are right now there at this big event. We have all these different people getting ready to see the creature. Oh, by the way, so is Jubilee, who's trying her best to find Logan. But she also realized that Lady Deathstrike is there as well. Now, the rest of the first chapter, you have a lot of stuff happening that leads into a big battle. So let me explain. So you have everybody there just being amazed by this creature. But let's not forget that earlier we saw a sniper who basically told us that her main goal is to get revenge against the creature, but we had no idea why. Well, either way, once she does see the creature, she takes a shot. Now, he was able to get out of the way, but the problem was he was still grazed by the bullet. And once he was grazed by the bullet, Logan gets very upset because to him, he believes that Ronald brought the creature here to show it off, but to also possibly kill it. And so for Logan, the creature must be free to get away from all this madness. Except when he does jump onto the cage, Sabertooth sees him, and so does Lady Deathstrike, and they also jump onto the cage. Now, I want to jump over to Albert real quick, the cyborg Wolverine, who's trying his best to create a brand new cyborg body for LCD. So when it comes to Albert, he pulls out a main line in the tunnels of the Morlocks. This main line goes back to Manhattan. It's the main power line. And so when he does pull it out to get enough power to help him build a new body for LCD, he caused a massive blackout for Manhattan. And so getting back over to the big battle right now in Manhattan, you have Jubilee realize that Logan cannot really see who is attacking him from where. And so she decided to use her abilities to give him some lights. The problem is she blinds the pilot of the helicopter that was being used to hold the creature cage in the air. And so because he was blinded, the cage does crash into a nearby building. And so now all four characters are technically free to fight against each other. Wolverine, Sabertooth, Lady Deathstrike, and Hunter in Darkness are now getting ready for one big battle. But as we dive into the second chapter for today's video, we actually do see the battle continue on. You have Sabertooth fighting against Wolverine. You have Lady Deathstrike fighting against Wolverine. You have Hunter in the Darkness just fighting anybody. And you have Wolverine just trying to survive. And really, you have Sabertooth fighting against Lady Deathstrike because he wants to be the one to kill off Wolverine, and the same goes for Lady Deathstrike. Either way, we do get a few pages of this battle, but you didn't have Logan realize that, yes, he does know the Hunter in the Darkness, and the reason why? Because like I said earlier, they met back after he had escaped from Weapon X. He's right now getting flashbacks of that moment, but unfortunately, he does not have the time to sit down and actually think about it, because right now, he has to fight against these guys to just survive. Now, you do have Jubilee try to join in as well, but honestly, Jubilee can't do much really help out Wolverine when it comes to a battle like this. Now, I want to shift our focus over to the sniper, and here's the reason why, because we finally learned what her name is. Her name is Emmy Doolin. Now, when it comes to Emmy Doolin, she is the daughter to Sergeant Doolin, who was a character that was somewhat close to Wolverine. Let me explain. So, like I said earlier, when it came to Wolverine, after he had escaped from Weapon X, he had a run-in with the Hunter in Darkness, except there was also a second run-in that came down the road later on in Logan's life that also involved Sergeant Doolin and another character as well. Now, the whole entire situation when it came to her father's death was actually covered up, and the reason why? Because of Logan. But she believed deep down that it was the Hunter in Darkness that had actually killed off her father, and the reason why? Because her father was so obsessed with the creature. Now, Wolverine knows the true story, but the problem is she's not trying to listen. And so she continues to shoot at all three characters. Really, all four characters. Really, just three, because she does shoot Lady Deathstrike off the rooftop, so there she goes. And that only leaves Sabertooth, Wolverine, and the Hunter in Darkness. Now, both characters do get shot by Emmy, and we kind of find out that her bullets are actually laced with mercury, which is actually poison to our two characters, and so they begin to hallucinate. Now, this is really a big moment that I really want to focus on more rather than Emmy. And here is the reason why. Okay, so you have Wolverine and Sabertooth both see Emmy now as someone known as the Wrangler, somebody from their past that they were actually worried about. Not worried, more of being scared of that person. But we have no idea who this Wrangler character is. But either way, we now know that both Wolverine and Sabertooth both know the Wrangler. Now, when you have Wolverine realize that Sabertooth also knows the Wrangler, that is when you have Sabertooth drop the whole idea that he is the father of Logan, even though we already got that confirmation in our last video by Nick Fury. Well, you now have Logan realize that Sabertooth is now calling him his partner, which means in the past, these two used to work together. But let's not forget that Logan, at this point in time in Marvel Comics, does not know his actual origin yet. And so because of that right there, he's kind of like, wait a second, so you're not my dad, you're now calling me your partner. What is our connection to one another? Now, the problem is, though, you have our two characters not being able to get close to Emmy because, again, they are hallucinating. They're now seeing her as the Wrangler. But luckily for our characters, they were saved by Jubilee, who was able to knock her out. Now, the ending of the story, the last 3 pages, are really used as a way to set things up for down the road. So, for example, when it comes to Sabertooth, apparently, after you had Jubilee being able to take care of Emmy, well, he disappeared. Now we do know that Wolverine is not his son, but apparently they were partners in the past. Now, when it comes to Lady Deathstrike, remember, she got shot earlier and fell off the rooftop. Well, we see that she had landed in the streets below, but she was found by, well, of course, Ronald, the guy who was able to catch the Hunter in darkness. And he says, hey, we're not done talking yet, so you and I are going to have a long conversation. In the last page, we jump back over to the tunnels of the Morlocks, where we do see another creature entering the tunnels, and we're kind of left to wonder who that creature could possibly be. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video, so please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.